Good afternoon to you, Diabo, and to our viewers at home. 6 of COSATU's affiliates in the public sector have really downed tools in terms of really what they're calling for, an indication that they're not happy with government where that offer is concerned. They're pointing to it to say that from today onwards, they're going to be introducing some pickets. They're going to be introducing, action within different sectors to ensure that in the lead up to that conciliation process on the 31st of October, there's some sort of movement, and that government is feeling really what they are calling for. They've taken issue with an employer that is offering around 3% to 4% and saying that that is not going to help them at all. They've accused also the employer, this being government, of more or less negotiating in bad faith and undermining bargaining processes. This happening at the bargaining council, saying to us on the ground today that they're going to ensure that their members across board reject what government is putting forward. This, of course, coming ahead of Wednesday's midterm budget policy statement, where we've heard of news that government is planning to unilaterally just enforce that 3%, something that they've taken issue with. I'm going to invite into the conversation now Mr. December Mavuso. He's with Nehau. He is part of the office bearers that were really giving us a media update here today. We know very well that today you're starting with a downing of tools and action that would see government really feel what you're calling for as workers, and you've taken issue with what government has brought to the table, rejecting what they're offering right now. Welcome to the SABC, and let us in on the sticking point as we speak right now.
No, thank you very much. Look, as we have announced in our statement, we have declared a dispute after majority of unions and COSATU, but also other unions outside COSATU rejected the offer in the public service. So there isn't any agreement currently. The offer was withdrawn. And what basically our members have rejected is the 3% that was offered to workers, which 3% comes as a result of the deep cuts austerity program that government is implementing, that we know that they've already planned way back in 2020 when they announced that there'll be cuts every year in a wage bill of the public service. The unfortunate thing is that austerity acts is only directed at workers who are covered by the scope of the PSABC salary level 1 to 12. Those outside that are not covered. Politicians are part of the wage bill. Judges are part of the public sector wage bill. Executives in parastatals and many others, including the budget that they use for VIP protection and so on. It's part of the wage bill. But no, the people who must sacrifice, who must pay for public death, it is these people covered by the scope of the PSABC. We don't think it's acceptable.
What do you say then to other unions within COSATU that have already signed for that 3%? We know SATU and other teachers' unions form part of those that have already agreed to what government is presenting on the table at the bargaining council. What do you say to that? And doesn't that indicate some sort of division within COSATU where your approach to this bargaining process is concerned?
Look, remember, we derive mandate from different constituencies. So it is within their right. They've been mandated to accept the offer. We have been mandated differently. Our members have given us a different mandate. That's what we're pursuing. So we will respect that as much as we expect everybody to respect our mandate. So that's what we're going to be focused on. We're not going to be focusing. Currently, as things stand, as we understand, there's no signed agreement. Nobody has signed an agreement, because you can only sign an agreement if it enjoys the majority support, which is 50+1. So currently, majority of unions have refused to sign the agreement. So there isn't no agreement. So that is why maybe government talks about unilateral implementation, because they understand that there is no agreement that can bind currently as things stand. If it's signed by one union or two unions, that agreement can't bind to anyone.
And just finally on my end, sir, what would happen then if the finance minister then, more or less in that budget tends to include the 3%, meaning that you're going to be included, in that unilateral process that has been taken by the employer to sign on the 3%? What is your reaction to that? Because it's pointing to, a government that is pushing to ensure that when the budget is presented on Wednesday, there's at least some sort of an agreement with the workers on the ground. What would be your reaction to government that would implement that 3% without you as workers agreeing to it?
We have said it in the past. It is wrong to negotiate with us in Parliament because we're not in Parliament. It is wrong to negotiate with us in the media. the platform that all of us have agreed is the SABC. If that was to happen, obviously it will be wrong. We'll condemn that because it undermines the institutions established for purpose of collective bargaining, including the dispute resolution process or mechanisms that are put in place. But for us, that will not be the end of it. If they were to announce that, that will not deter us. It will not stop us. They will have to send back their negotiators on the table to deal with this matter. It doesn't matter what they say tomorrow. We're not going to be distracted by that.
On the 31st of October, just finally, what can we expect to happen at the Bargaining Council?
We're expecting members to come in numbers there to voice their anger, to say to government, send back your negotiators to the Bargaining Council for us to conclude this matter properly.
Mr. December Mavuso, thank you very much for your time. Mr. Mavuso coming through there from Nehau. He forms part of those office bearers that have joined, come together as public servants under COSATU to reject what government is bringing to the table. They are pointing to the 31st of October. That is where this process will be back at the Bargaining Council, and they're calling their members to come and demonstrate on that particular day. But also this coming through at a time where on Wednesday we'll be seeing a budget, and it remains to be seen if they will be included in that budget as public sector wage or public sector workers, or they'll actually see a budget that does not include them, as negotiations are expected to continue at the Bargaining Council on the 31st of October. Diabo?